Hey everybody, this is Mr. D, and this is how to sign into your Google account. If you are in the sixth grade or up in the Russell County school system, whether you know it or not, you have a free Google account that you're going to use quite extensively during your school years here in Russell County. So I want to make sure that you're able to sign in. First and foremost, make sure that you are connected to the internet and open up your web browser. If you'll see, I am using Google Chrome. And then I want you to go to the Google homepage, which of course is simply google.com. Now, of course, for those who are a little bit unfamiliar, Google, of course, looks like this. I'm sure you've been to this page before. Normally, all of our activity on Google is centered here in the middle of the screen, where we're searching all the answers to life's mysteries that we're wanting to know about. However, to sign in, you will notice that in the top right-hand corner, there is a blue rectangular button called the sign in button. And when you click on the sign in button, it's going to ask you to do a couple of things. Now, while that loads up, let me go back here and make sure that you know that you have a school issued email address that is connected to your Google account. Now, it is rather long, so make sure that you pay attention to this format. It is first name dot last name at stu.russell.kyschools.us. Now, literally, it's not the word first name. It is your first name dot your last name at stu.russell.kyschools.us. So, for an example, I have the permission of one of my former students from last year to sign in using her account to show you what that process looks like. Okay. So it's going to ask you when you go to sign in for your email address. Now, her name is Erica Wilkerson. So you'll notice her first name is Erica dot her last name Wilkerson. And it's going to be at Stu, that's short for student, dot Russell, that's the name of our county, KY schools, Kentucky schools, and then .us for the United States. So you have local, state, and federal governments all in this really long email address. So when I go to next after that, it's going to ask me for my password. Now, if you have never signed in before, your password will be simply the word password. Once you sign in the first time, you're going to be asked to change that. But once you figure that stuff out, simple as that. And you can see I'm signed in as Erica Wilkerson. And of course, I'm never going to save her information on my computer. And I'll inform Erica she'll need to change her password after this video. So let me go back here once again. Your school issued email address, your first name dot last name at stu.russell.kyschools.us. Now, let me give a couple of pieces of advice in regards to this. This is the first name and last name as entered on Infinite Campus. So if you go by the name Will, but your name is William, it's going to be William dot your last name. Okay, so no shortened names, no nicknames. It's going to be what your first name is on your birth certificate and as it is entered on Infinite Campus. Also, if you have a relatively common name, okay, so for example, I've had a couple of Spencer Roys. Roy's a very common name here in Russell County. One of my Spencer Roys lives up the road from me here out on Gosser Ridge. So I've had multiple Spencer Roys in class. So if there were another Spencer Roy that were to come along this year, he might have the email address spencer.roy3, because he's the third Spencer Roy in Russell County School District since we started issuing Google accounts at stu.russell.kyschools.us. Also, if you have a hyphenated name, that hyphenated name probably would be in the last name and it would be included in your email address. Okay. If you have any questions whatsoever, I am Mr. Davidson and I am the Google admin for the building. So please make sure if you have any questions whatsoever, please issue those to jason.davidson at russell.kyschools.us. I'm not a student, so you'll notice that my email address looks a lot like yours, except without the student tag on it. So you can send me an email and say, hey, Mr. D, if you could reset my password for me, or simply have your teacher call me, and I will make sure that I take care of that ASAP. So that is how to sign into your Google account. Happy Googling.